for yet another cracker in this marathon epic night at Basildon. Gulyassy.
America have won the lag.
Dallas West taking on Davis and Kendall.
First rack.
Dallas wins the lag.
Yes, it's the Americans versus Lee and the legend. Davis and Lee Kendall. Dallas West and Mike Gulyassy, as you said, Sid. And the Americans must surely feel like they're pulling it right out of the Europeans' grasp.
That's right. The experience of Davis, Lee Kendall's some player. This is going to be the toughest game Lee Kendall's ever had in his life. And just look at the determination on those two. If Europe can win this one, they take the Mosconi Cup. But they've done without that.
Unlucky. Found the middle pocket. And if you've just tuned into this, have you caught the lottery numbers or what? This is what it's all about. Mike Gulyassy and Dallas West trying to hold on, walking a tightrope for the Americans. They were down 15-10. They've pulled back to 15-14. And I can tell you another thing. It looks like on paper they can push it right to the wire.
Absolutely. If you're new to pool, this rhymes with it. It's enough to make any sports fan drool the way the Americans have done a 4-hour clawback into this match. They hold the Mosconi Cup. And absolute sporting superness. Just look at that shot. Thin as tickle ever.
Have a look, Sid, now at the 4 and the 9. Mike Gulyassy, his intentions very clear. He's looking to plant the purple 4 onto the 9.
And it's the sort of psychological blow the Europeans could do without. It's what he's going to do. Purple onto the 9. When cockeyed.
Well, I'm surprised. He could have drawn to either side there. Very tentative play indeed. And you don't do that against the master Cuman. Lee Kendall right now at the table. And certainly Lee Kendall has never seen a center stage like this.
Absolutely. But to use a Northern English phrase in Stoke-on-Trent, they're now all about breaking pots.
The
What are you
purple
trying here,
4.
Jim?
The ball on right now. And how about that shot from Dallas? Big D West. The orange 5 to follow, and then the green 6. This American pairing looked very strong. It was just a question of whether they were going to get a chance to play. They were waiting in the wings all night, and here they are, back with a chance to keep their hopes alive.
Just the right contact and the right pace to get position on the black. It's enough to turn middle-aged men's hair grey.
First rack to America.
The Americans take the opening rack of the opening set. Dallas West and Mike Gulyassy against Steve Davis and Lee Kendall.
Well, I've got to agree with Jim that on form, these two should take it. The Americans,
Second
it's going
rack.
to take inspiration to burn the form book. Nothing down. He's shown, I won't say mastery, but of him, Higgins and White, Steve's the guy who's got the most power to the break.
Yes, he seems to have mastered this game quicker than most. But they're both in their chair. And the European fans are hoping that won't be a familiar sight.
Lots of screw back for the 2. The rail shot here, no problem. Where's his problems, Jim, looking ahead?
Well, if he's got a little angle on this blue 2, he just wants to come out for the red 3. That'll be next. And he looks perfect. Now the 4 and the 9 are right together, and it's difficult to tell if they're on a plant into the corner. We'll know in a second whichever side Mike Gulyassy plays to.
Goes to the straight pot side.
Obviously not set into the corner. So it's the purple 4 and then the orange 5.
Crowd hushed because I think they know the phone book here. The Yanks probably the favourites to take this one. Clatter. Once the 6. It's a 40% contact here, bottom left. Played powerfully to go 2 cushions to leave position up there on the brown. Good shot.
It's all looking pretty simple right now for babyface Mike Gulyassy. The Americans got their foot in the door early, and now they've rammed it open with their shoulder.
And the hinges ain't looking too good either, Jim.
This 9 for a 2-0 lead in the opening set. It disappears, and the Americans enjoy that 2-0 lead. It's set 1. They need one more rack to complete the set, and it's up to the Europeans to try and halt their progress, Sid.
Yeah, it's all one-way traffic at the moment. That's the old glue pants time. Sitting down, never won a pool game. And the way the Americans are breaking off, it's looking really sweet. They usually get 1 or 2 down.
3rd rack, America to break.
Takes it up to the head string. And he's looking very relaxed for a bloke who's in a position to bring a major tournament level at 15 apiece.
The 1 ball in off the break.
Changes to his pot and kill.
19.8 miles per hour. More than enough power if it's generated in the proper direction. And now the blue 2. No value in attempting the double there because he needed to get back for the red 3.
And it's fun, isn't it? To get a chance to get out of the seat when you get nice and comfy because you weren't let in. And the first thing you have to do is to get out of jail.
Blue 2 and the red 3 circled. And a mistake again.
Stick up.
But the saving grace, it looks like that white has finished very near the side cushion. And I can't see any avenue to be able to get that cue ball back for the red 3. And that man has forgotten more than most people know about 9-ball. Years of experience. Just traveling far enough to be able to see the red 3.
And I think the contact is just right for a roll along the rail.
And you know what he's having a look at here is the thin snick on the 3 and possibly bunting the 9 up towards the top corner.
This air shot.
But you've got to hit the 3 first.
Foul.
Again, you make a mistake if you're in two minds. If you're trying to think, two parallel factors in the game. Sometimes miss.
Yeah, we've seen that a number of times where players have had pots on, but the 9-ball has been there teasingly, and they've gone for both and missed both. But now it's cue ball in hand for Steve Davis. It's the red 3, the purple 4, right in the middle of the table is what he needs position on. Steve has played as good a 9-ball as any snooker player I've ever seen. So right now, he's really got to produce some form if he's going to stave off the American comeback.
Well, that looks sweet. Does the 8-9 plant? Does he have a lot of work to do first?
Well, if the 8-9 is in fact on, Sid, but it's very close. He's got the orange 5 to contend with into the top right-hand corner right now. He's missed it by a good ways. But again, Steve never does anything without an insurance policy. The miss here, but that white looks to have finished behind the brown 7. And right now, babyface Mike Gulyassy having a good look to see if he can get through to it. And as we look on here, I can tell you that waiting in the wings is the whirlwind of London town. Jimmy White pacing, waiting for a chance to take the cup for the European side, his teammates.
Here's the jump shot.
Mike Gulyassy jumping over the 7.
And these can set up your opponent.
And obviously nothing on here, Sid. The orange 5 in the middle of the table. Lee Kendall with a good look just to see that the 8 and 9 aren't a plant. but he's going to need a good shot here to contain the American side.
I don't believe it. At 8 o'clock, the Europeans needed one game to win. Brilliant.
How about
Sort of shot.
that?
Awesome try.
What about that? The finest of cuts. Lee Kendall with a big chance now to win it for the European team right here. Win this rack. But how about that shot? It looked too fine. But obviously he knew better.
Yeah, we've got to take all the liberties we can, us European lads here. The European team have been trying for 4.5 hours to try and take one game.
The problem right now is that he isn't straight enough on this 7 to get down for the black 8. And if the 8 and the 9 aren't a plant, he's still got a lot of work to do.
So it's got a fairly simple pot on the brown. Will he try and disturb the other two, Jim, or will he play into position on the black across the other way?
Can't disturb him off this. The wrong angle. But that is an absolutely brilliant shot from Lee Kendall. That is as good as he could do from that position. He's on the black now, and it looks like there's enough room for him to be able to knock it into the corner pocket. He's got to negotiate the cannon onto the 9 so as to leave it on.
It's a crucial time for the European team then.
He's left the 9 on, but it certainly isn't as easy as he would have liked. Is he looking at the 9 in the middle pocket? Big time pressure. And
Always the tightest one's in for.
Big time pressure is what it's all about. Those middle pockets are always treacherous.
Well, I'll say more in hope than in reality. I've seen these missed. But Dallas.
Back in the first set.
Dallas West knocks it in. Happy to pounce on that last 9. 3-0, they win the first set. And it's 1-0 in sets to the Americans over the Europeans.
Well, it's getting really tough out there. Dallas West just slipped out for a quick massage. But the Americans do have the first set in this vital match that could bring it level at 15-15, Jim.
And did you see that look of determination and desire etched all over Steve Davis's face? Do you think he understands the importance of this? Is he trying very hard, Sid?
Europe has won the leg.
Etch is the word.
We'll break. First rack.
It looks as though Henry Moore
Second
has
set.
been getting chisel practice on that bone structure.
He wants this as badly for himself and the Europeans as anything in a long time. Lee Kendall breaking off in the second set, the opening rack.
Nearly got 2 down, but nearly's not good enough here. The cue shook, but the pack broke sweet. Nothing down.
And he's looking at the yellow 1 right now. Then he has to get back to the 2 and the 9 wedged together there. The two looks like it will pass to the one corner. And after the blue two, he's got to get back up the other end for the red three. And I'm not sure he can do that. I wonder if he might elect to try and take the 9 in here. Off the 2, this is going to take some power shot to get back for the 3.
It's running into the lip.
Always looked like it was going to be difficult, Sid.
Yeah.
The angle obviously wasn't there to attack the 9.
The American team there. Massey and his lady wife. And the captain, Bobby Hunter. Looking really uptight. I think if he makes a contact, it's in. Any slice is a good slice here. Can only hit it in one place.
A chance for the Ginger Magician this. It's the red 3, the ball on. It's the 1, the purple 4 ball next, and then down for the orange 5 that Steve has just leaned over.
And I'll just remind all you fans of the rackets that the tennis, the compact tennis, is on Sky Sports 1 at the moment.
But our attention's turned to Sky Sports 2. And it's all about 9 ball, and it's all about pressure.
Well, I've got to admit, I had one slight, wouldn't say cynicism, wouldn't even say qualm when I saw in one of the biogs of the players that 9-ball pool is the ultimate test of mind, temperament and matter. But after 48 hours on the road to Samara, I now believe.
Steve with a nice angle. The Americans can only watch helplessly. He's going to bring the cue ball around the angles, back for the 9.
Perfect, as they say on the Lower East Side. Sinks it on the Lower East Side.
And the Nugget looking a lot more pleased with himself. Both he and Lee Kendall, part of a strong European team that has done themselves proud. They've needed that 1 point for about 4 hours. And how elusive it has proved to be. And my colleague says closer to 5 hours. Well, it's been a long time, Sid. But man, that winning post has been moving steadily away from the Europeans.
Second rack.
Mike Gulyassy breaking off for USA.
Nothing down. Sorry. Yeah, he got one. He's now got his potting cue.
The long one. Very difficult shot.
once upon a time, the longest day I thought was about a war movie. Not anymore. Here's the swerver shot. How's he gonna jump it?
Steve trying to bend this and jump it slightly over the 3. He's got to just go over the corner of it. Now he's gone away from the jump cue. Got his cue back, his pool cue. And he's elected to go to the top cushion, or bottom as we look.
Could be a hit and a hope. Got away with it there. Safety in mind.
A very fast and anxious look to see if the 1 might have bumped the 7 into a plant for the 9, but doesn't look like it.
One match was all they've needed for 4 hours and 45 minutes, Europe. The Yanks have pegged back, to use a phrase from Cribbage, 5s and 3s. He's looking at the plant, maybe, hopefully. One set of the Americans looking to pull it, take it to the very last possible match.
The 9's in!
9's in! Brilliant!
Absolutely.
He took a long, long look. Look at
Fantastic shot from Lee Kendall. Didn't look like it was on from our position. Obviously, he knew otherwise. And look at the score line. 2-0 to Europe in the second set, the set that they desperately have to win. Have a look at this shot again. Just missed the double kiss with the cue ball. The 9 disappeared.
The 3rd rack, second set.
A strong cup of coffee needed. A shot of caffeine, because we're still going to be here for a while. Davis breaking off.
And that rather quizzical look on Davis's chops is because he said that if this goes to the Americans, that'll be 15-15. There'll be a single rack between Jimmy White and Lowood Jarrett. He decided, check a single set. Till he silent. So it would come down really to the wire. You can do without that.
Yeah, if you want to keep Jimmy away, you can do without that for sure. Cue ball in hand for Dallas West. I think Davis is laughing more at the prospect of Jimmy having to come out to play a best of 1. But it's the blue 2, the ball on right now. Purple 4 across the table, and then back up for the orange 5. And electing to play the 6 down to the bottom left. He's got a run through for the black 8.
Great shots. Didn't even need a snick on the rail. Well, they're wilting a bit, them lads, and my boys and Jim's getting a bit of crackling in it. Those two lads were here since 6 o'clock. No sign of tiredness from the players. Jim?
America.
Certainly not there. The big D cashes in the 9 ball and pulls one back. It's still 2-1 in the second set to Davis and Kendall. It's up to the Americans to try and keep this set alive. They took the first set, remember. And it's a best 2 out of 3 sets.
Yep. For nearly 5 hours, the European team have been trying to get just one game to lay hands on the Mosconi Cup. That's it there, behind Dallas.
America to break.
So, placing the cue ball exactly where he wants it, to the millimeter. Nothing down. So, a great chance here. It's 2-1 to Europe in the second set. The Americans got the first one. So if Lee Kendall can have a rush of blood in 2 minutes, it could be set alike easy. Needs an extremely thin cut here.
He'd be ill-advised to take this on. I think discretion, the better part of valor right now. Europe has been wavering, trying to get over the finish line for the last 5 hours. Right now, they've got to solidify their attack.
I like it, Jim. I've heard of firming up the back four, but never solidify.
Tremendous pot from Lee Kendall. Even he shakes his head. I don't think he expected to get that one. Might have had a bit of safety in mind, but what a good pot it was.
Well, if I was sat at home watching this, instead of making with the verbals, I'd want to see the very end. And in about 4 minutes' time, true fans of ball sports on grass or bays, the conclusion of this transfers to Sky Sports 1.
Just out for the purple 4. And right now, this is the chance for Europe, in the person of Lee Kendall, to take the second set. Everything there.
Well, I would fancy me to do fairly well with the lie of the balls.
You forget, Sid, I've seen you play.
Don't leave me juice on the beach, Jim. Don't trust what you see in practice.
The green 6, brown 7, then the black 8. And again, a reminder, we're just going to be switching over to Sky Sports 1 in just a couple minutes. We're committed to bring you the conclusion of this 95 Mosconi Cup.
Even if it does mean a bit of channel swimming.
And you know right now Lee Kendall is committed to keeping the European hopes on track.
Well, we've seen a lot of bother on the middle pockets, Jim. When I walked in 4 days ago, you told me as a rookie looker at this game. Avoid the middle bags unless you have to use them. Has he to use it?
It looks here like he does, Sid. We've already seen him miss one pressure 9 into this very pocket. And that's what he's looking at right now. A very acute angle into the center. Wonder what he was doing up. He elected to play it the long way. It was difficult either way.
But he might have got a... No, he hasn't. Thought he might have gone behind the 9 ball.
He probably took it to the easier of the two pockets, but neither one of them was going to be easy given the circumstances. But neither is this.
Yeah, the contact here has to be feathery and precise. That's in about a minute's time. Going over to Sky Sports 1. As the Americans look determined to take us into a final set later on, featuring Jimmy White.
Back to America.
Going over to Sky.
You're joining us right in the crux of the matter here. It's the 1995 Mosconi Cup. It's Europe versus America. And it couldn't be more tightly poised. 15 points to 14. The Europeans need only one. We're in the second set. The Americans have won the first set, and it's deadlocked at 2 racks apiece in the second.
Sky Movies Gold, and the movie channel. We're bringing the drama and the characters here on Sky Sports with 9-ball pool. There's been a battle going on for over 5 hours for Europe to get one single game. It hasn't happened because the Yanks have dragged themselves back over the past 5 hours. It's now odds on it being 15 apiece, and Jimmy White will be stepping up to trying to take a single set, possibly, in the match that would decide the fate of the Mosconi Cup, at present held by America.
And right now, Dallas West has just had a stroll around the table. If he follows through with the yellow 1 here, he's going to be playing the 2 onto the 9. And there you go. He needs the control. He's elected to do that because the 4 ball and the 5 are locked up at the top end of the table. But this is a very difficult shot.
Blue. 2. The 9.
It's there. The 9 ball disappears.
America.
And America has gone 1 rack ahead. If they win this set, then there'll be a 15-15. They'll have brought it to a tie.
If you've been watching the tennis, you will not know this necessarily. This Mosconi Cup, introduced a year ago and taken by the Americans, has produced pool, 9-ball pool over 4 days, worthy of the world of Damon Runyon.
America to win.
At one stage, Europe had their knuckles half on the trophy, but for 5 hours those knuckles have been wrapped as the Americans have come back like Rottweilers, possibly to take us to a sudden death set featuring Jimmy White later on.
Foul.
Soon as this epic struggle reaches a climax, we'll reach on the tennis.
But certainly, if it's high-packed pressure tension you're looking for, you're on the right channel now. The babyface Mike Gulyassy representing the United States. And it's cue ball in hand with the foul, and it's that man, Steve Davis of Europe. He can put the cue ball anywhere in the table he wants it. And right now, they trail the Americans by 1-0 and 3 racks to 2 in the second set. But the overall score, 15-14 in a race to 16. There it is. And the Europeans have been teetering from a 15-10 lead.
And just like the Roadrunner always stayed miles ahead of the bug-eyed coyote, the Americans have driven the Europeans bug-eyed with their tenacity. It's been 4 years. The tournament started at 2 o'clock on Thursday here in Basildon. The name of the game is 9-ball. It's the sort of pool you see in The Color of Money and The Hustler, and the rules are extremely simple. You break off, you try to get the 9 down straight away. If you don't, you've got to progress to the lowest ball. You can make cannons, you can make plants, but the aim is to get to the 9-ball as quick as you can, any route you can.
The yellow one, the ball on right now for Steve. He used it to plant the 3 into the pocket.
The object within each normal match is 3 sets. First to get 2 sets is the winner. Within the set, best of 5, but you've got to go 2 clear. So quite often we end up with sudden deaths after 4-4, and they play only the 9th to the side. 1 set to the Americans. This Euro pair, Davis and Lee Kendall from Stoke, trying manfully to do it all. It looked as though it was going to finish at 21 minutes past 8. Here we are at 1:04 in the morning and counting.
And right now, Steve Davis is looking at the 4-ball. That's the purple one. And I believe he's eyeing up the plant to try and knock the 9 into the corner pocket. Well, obviously, it's gone awry.
Things looking sick because the Americans take this rack. It's dead level at 15 apiece. And there'll be a sudden death set featuring Jimmy White and Lou Butera, the bear against the whirlwind.
And a comeback of monumental proportions when they were 15-10 behind. But it's the big D, Dallas West. He's still got a dish up here.
People's champion, Jimmy White, is waiting in the wings as a veteran. There'll be a veteran stepping up with Jimmy White soon. Lou Butera, 57-year-old, starting up at the moment. A pool room in Vegas, and he'll be taking on Jimmy White. It's amazing. In their last 5 hours, the Yanks have dragged back by class and experience to 15-15. Jimmy White's coming up to take on Lou Butera. It will be absolutely glistering.